Llano Grande is located on the western edge of the Sesame River, 5.5 kilometers and 45 degrees northwest of the Acropolis of Copan. The pre-Columbian site of Llano Grande has 7 residential groups and a civic ceremonial center, which I argue, based on my research, function as a ritual space linked to the agricultural calendar. This site, following the constructional tradition of E-Group, was built on a natural rocky hill that stands 40 meters above a natural plaza. On its north side, there are 2 patios oriented 54 degrees east of north and a staircase with 104 steps connecting the natural plaza and the mounds on the top of the hill. The staircase is oriented 75 degrees east of north and aligns with the summer solstice. On the south side of the hill, there is a plaza which measures 67 by 29 meters. The plaza has a mound on its south side and a second mound on the north side, the point from which the astronomical observations are made. The northern pyramid is oriented to the winter solstice, the astronomical event that marks the beginning of the new year and the Chortí agricultural calendar. As an integral part of the ceremonial complex at Llano Grande, on the eastern side, there are the caverns of Copan, locally known as Gordon's Cave and Cueva Especial. These caves have been explored by different scholars, including Gordon in 1897, Devereux in 1983, and James Brady in 1990s. Such research has revealed that the caves were used as a ritual space by commoners from the early pre-classic to the late classic period of Maya civilization. The archaeology of the caves indicate that the pre-classic communities of Copan, who live in sepulturas, group 9 and 8, at the mini Acropolis in the northwest corner of the main plaza, and at the site of Cerro Chino, used the eastern side of Llano Grande as a holy space linked to the cult of ancestors. This tradition persisted when the local people began to interact with the Maya, a cultural group who arrived at Copan from the central Petén in the early classic under the leadership of Yaxcogmó, the founder of a new dynastic power that lasted around 400 years. This dynastic power began building in the flatlands, modifying the settlement pattern of Copan with new architectural programs, shaping what is nowadays known as the Acropolis of Copan. The Maya introduced at Copan the cultural elements of the Maya lowlands, including architecture, iconography, the steel altar tradition, and the ideology of divine rulership and power. When the Maya settled at Copan, cities in the Maya lowlands had a long tradition of building E-groups. At Copan, however, the E-group assemblage was not integrated into the different building projects of the city. I have 2 theories to explain this problem. The first is that pre-classic people were not culturally related to the Maya, therefore the E-group had no meaning in their cosmology. The second hypothesis tested at Llano Grande is that the local landscape played the same role as the E-group architectural assemblage in the Maya lowlands. In the summer season of 2022, while mapping Llano Grande, my colleague Mark Wolf and I questioned the function of Group 1, outlining the idea that the site was designed to incorporate both the natural and built environment in a ritual complex defined as E-group, a holy place appropriated by the late classic rulers of Copan to create a sense of community linking the rural and the urban commoners in a ritual space commemorating the ancestors and celebrating the agricultural cycle. Group 1 of Llano Grande has the characteristics of an E-group. 3 hills on the eastern side orientated north-south, which serve as markers of the sunrise during the equinoxes and solstice, a natural plaza that functions as a public space, and a platform on the west side of the plaza, the point from which the astronomer or priest observed the sunrise and other constellations. The E group have been classified into three types of assemblages, defined by the configuration of the eastern platform and superstructures. La Venta type, with an eastern platform without superstructure. Cenote, with an eastern platform where the superstructure is located at the center of the east of the north-south axis of the eastern platform, and the Washington type, which has an eastern platform with three superstructures aligned north-south. From my point of view, Piedra Colorada, Cerro Pacho, and Cerro Llanetillos, located on the eastern side of Llano Grande, play the same role as the three temples on top of the eastern platform in the Washington E group. To explain my argument, I compare the orientations of sunrise during the winter and summer solstice at Washington with the same event at Llano Grande, and the role that the hills play as markers of sunrise is also compared to the role of the temples at Washington. According to Ricketson, the sun during the winter solstice is observed at Washington in the southern structure as 24.9 degrees south of east. At Llano Grande, the same solar event measures 26 degrees south of east. The summer solstice, on the other hand, at Washington presents an orientation of 24.4 and at Llano an orientation of 22.69. The key to emphasize at this point is that both the temples and hills play the same role as fixed markers of the sunrise during the equinoxes and solstices. Based on 2 years of solar observations and its correlation with the agricultural cycle at Copan, a very detailed mapping and ceramic analysis of the site, Group 1 at Llano Grande is interpreted as a late classic secondary observatory in the sense that it was designed to observe the sunrise during the equinox and solstice and not necessarily to fix the calendar. The archaeological data is contested within the modern agricultural cycle at Copan, and the ethnographic data on Shortese agricultural ceremonies as reported by Raphael Girard in 1966. First of all, for the Chortí, the cosmic quadrangle, which defines the agricultural year, is oriented to the summer and winter solstice, and not to the cardinal directions. The center of the cosmic quadrangle is defined by the passage of the sun through the zenith. Such concept of cosmic space is very similar to the E group space distribution. Let's now focus on the arrangement of the space in Group 1 at Llano. The staircase with 104 steps may represent the number of days between the first and second passage of the sun through the zenith, between April the 30th or May the 1st and August the 12th or August the 13th. Group 1 also has two mounts. The one on the north side of the plaza where the observations are made may have functioned as a ceremonial temple, and the south mount may have been the ceremonial kitchen, as reported by Raphael Girard among the modern Chortí ceremonial space at Quetzaltepeque. In the Chortí ceremonies reported by Raphael Girard, there is also a ritual that may explain the presence of Cache 103 at Ceibal. In the cosmic quadrangle, the Chortí placed 5 spherical stones, one in each of the 4 corners and one in the center. Each stone represents the position of the sun in the different phases of the agricultural cycle. The Cueva Especial, which became an integral part of the ceremonial complex at Llano, may have a direct relationship with ideologies of divine rulership, Xibalbá, and the resurrection of the maize god. The placement of a stone censer on top of Piedra Colorada also has a close relation to Chac and water rituals during the agricultural ceremonies, which among the Chortí are celebrated from April the 25th to May the 3rd. Some scholars also argue that E groups not only function as astronomical centers, to observe the sunrise during the equinox and solstice, but also were used to track the movement of other constellations. This argument is supported by the Chortí agricultural ceremonial year, which depends on the observations of constellations such as the Orion Belt, the Pleiades, and the Milky Way to organize the agricultural work, including the ritual activity. My interpretation of Llano Grande are based on preliminary research. However, I argue that the site functions as a ceremonial space linked to the agricultural calendar, and I hope that future research will contest or confirm such hypotheses.